concept used by a lot of coaches and just runners training themselves is to get more specific as you go. So if your goal race is a marathon, just using this as an example, you might start off with, after you establish some base, so easy miles, some strides, maybe some fartleks in there, then your first block of training is going to be more 5K, 10K specific training. So short, fast intervals. Still might have some like tempo runs in there, but tempos are probably going to be not the key workout. Then your next block might be more like really lactate threshold. And that's what I mean by tempos, is lactate threshold work. So maybe 1 hour race pace, maybe even like very half marathon specific training for some people. And then the last block of training, so getting close to the marathon, your goal race, maybe the last at least 6 weeks to 8 weeks, then you're going to really focus on the marathon specific work. So your key runs will change into long runs with miles at or around marathon pace. So again, that's the concept of having your training get more specific as you go. So I want to go into when not to follow this. First one, this one will be quick, is if you are training for a marathon or an ultra and you're just coming off an injury, starting with the high intensity VO2 max work could be a bad idea, because often those high intensity short intervals place the most demand on your body, specifically like your muscles and tendons. So if you're just healing from like a muscle strain or an Achilles injury, you might not want to start with that. So you might start with more, it could be just testing things out with a few minutes at marathon pace or lactate threshold work, and just to see how it goes and try that, just to see how your body handles that stress before adding in more demanding stress. Another way to play around with this is some people feel the sharpest when they are including these short, fast intervals. Even when they're getting close to marathon training, they start to feel, maybe some people start to feel flat, or maybe it could just be a mental thing where you like to see some faster paces. So can you include these short intervals in the last 6 to 8 weeks of training for a marathon or an ultra? And I think the answer is yes, but there's a different way of doing it. For example, if you're in the VO2 max 5K, 10K phase of training, you might be doing 6 to 8 times 3 minutes, maybe a 2 to 3 minute rest at or below 5K pace. That's going to be a pretty hard workout. But what if you take that pace, whatever pace you're running for that workout, and you just did, let's say, 8 times 1 minute at that pace, 1 minute easy. All of a sudden, that pace isn't very hard, right? Because you're really breaking it down to short intervals with a long rest. So that's the type of thing you can add as you get close to your marathon or ultra race. You could do it as its own workout, or you could even do a tempo run and then tack on those 1 minute intervals. Maybe it's only 4, maybe it's up to 8 or 10 minutes. So 4 to 10 times 1 minute fast, 1 minute easy at the end of a tempo. You still have to be careful, but again, that shouldn't be a hard workout. And I find it's a good way of just making lactate threshold marathon pace seem a little bit easier. A lot of people really enjoy it, or I should say it's more of a mental boost to see, hey, I can still run those fast paces. But again, listen to your body. That might not be right for everybody. I always change things up depending on the person in my own coaching practice. So listen to your body, feel what works for you, and just again, I love the concept of getting more specific as you go, but sometimes there needs to be tweaks to stuff, and so hopefully this little video helps you think about it more for yourself. For coaching free resources and training plans, check out highrunning.com.